Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः शान्तिः Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, who also has the divine names Kama Pradaha and Prabhu, to such a divine Lord, together with all Shraddha, Bhakti and Prapatti, we offer our humble salutations to seek His grace, His love, His mercy, His blessings, His affection, His forgiveness, His strength. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya and Prapatti, only and only to understand Thy true nature, to have the first-hand experience, aporoksha anubhuti of Thy true self. And we beseech in You that at the end of our lives, we reach Thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. By the grace of God and by the blessings of the Guru Parampara, today we are on our Divine Discourse number 314 on the 10th of January 2023, Shubhakrit Nama Samvatsara Dakshinayan Hemant Rutu Pushyamase Krishna Pakshe Tritiya Ashlesha Nakshatra Preeti Yoge and Bhadrakarane. On this auspicious day of Tuesday, and the auspicious time of the evening, we all make a firm resolve in our mind. We all take a pledge. Na ham karta, Hari karta, Hari preranaya, Hari priti. I am not the doer of anything, nor I am the receiver of anything. All that comes into my life by various persons, places, and objects, be it any situation, any circumstance, any incident, any happening, is only and only at the behest of the Almighty. He who is the driver of this life knows very well that what is needed to uplift the soul from the ocean of births and so keeping that enormous amount of trust in the Almighty and completely dissolving that ego that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer and sufferer, I am the giver and taker. Being completely devoid of all these, we submit at the lotus feet of the Lord. Accept everything as His prasad, as His gift in our life, without weighing the pros and cons. Oh, our humble salutation. Jai Guru Parampara. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. So now, as we studied during our previous class, two important things Lord Krishna told us in the 14th verse. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spraha itimam yobi janati karma bir nasabadhyate. So if you see, in the first sentence, if you take both the sentences, we call them as four quarters. The first line has two quarters and the second line has the next third and fourth quarter. So in the first quarter, what does he says? Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale sprahe. He says, I am not the doer of actions. Now this we are going to learn where this me factor, I factor is exactly coming into our lives. Very shortly we will be doing that. A very rigorous course on this. So, I am not the doer. There is something which is driving in me continuously. Even though I want to sit idle, I can't. Many a times. You see for yourself. You feel that, no, let me relax now, it's too much. Suddenly somebody will come. Suddenly some phone call will come. Then again you are on your toes. So this way, you feel that you are the doer. Don't ever think that you are the doer. From time to time, what has to make you go round and round? What has to make you keep performing various things, that will happen. So I am not the doer. And then in the same sentence, the second quarter, he says, since I am not the doer, what he says is, don't expect the result of your actions. See, many a times we do various actions with an intention in mind. Now, Agyani is one who does not have the knowledge. So we all have been doing that. Now we are gaining knowledge. Till now we were agyanis. We didn't have any idea of what this whole creation is about. What is Jiva, what is Jagat, and what is Ishvara? Absolutely no clue. So many a times we have expected something to happen and it didn't happen. Many a times we have not expected something to happen and it happens. Is this very clear to our minds? When this is the case, when you know for sure that things don't happen the way you want it to happen, then what's the big deal in accepting what Lord Krishna is saying? He's saying don't have any aspirations of the outcome. Keep your focus entirely on what you're doing. And the act of your doing should be how? Not that I am the doer, but I am the witness of the doer. See, if you actually apply common sense and logic into this, it's no big challenge which Lord Krishna is posing on us. It's only that we need to have the right understanding. So in the first two quarters, the first line is said, I am not the doer and I don't have any aspirations for the results. Okay. Now, if a person has to come to this state of understanding, itimam yobijanati, in this way, whoever has understood me, karma birna sabhadyate, karma will not engulf you or will not bind you. See, the very root of janma marana, this chakra, what we call the wheel of birth and death. What is the root? The root is karma. So here the Lord says, you understand me in the right sense. This is the third quarter, second line. If you have understood me in the right sense, karma birna sabhadyate, karma will not bind you. Now there is a greater depth to what Lord Krishna is saying over here. As per the commentary of Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya, he says, understand me as that one consciousness. He tells Arjuna. See, the problem is not with Krishna, the problem is with Arjuna. What is Arjuna wanting to do? He is wanting to say, I don't want to do all this war and fight, killing. What am I doing here? And he suddenly is thinking I should be a sannyasi. So that's when Lord Krishna was trying to tell him, even if you do karma, even if you do the deadliest of the act, where you are killing some people, what is that? It is your duty. So anything done as a duty, and in what sense? That you are not the doer and you are not expecting any, that result should come only in this particular way. See, let's remove the understanding of I am working without expecting and without desiring any results. Let's remove that from our mind. How we should work? We should work without an anticipation. See, expectation also sometimes misleads us. Let's use the word of anticipation. Let's not speculate. Oh, I am going to get this much. Oh, I may not get this much. So this is an anticipation. So what Lord Krishna is trying to say, when you have done something, you will definitely get the result. But understand that result is decided by the Ishvara, the one who is the giver of the results. He takes the calls. And for that there is a series of components, a computation, the data goes into computation, and every action of every person as per the computation of your previous karma, all that loaded, that software finally gives the result. That's the reason we see so much of disparity in each and every person getting results in life. Somebody suddenly hits stardom. Somebody, they work for decades and they never get to see the spotlight. So how is this? This is all that data which is there at the back, which gets added and gives you the result. So here he says, you understand me, meaning in the context of Tattvamasi. This is that great deeper understanding he gives over here. Understand it as Tattvamasi. I am that Sat. I am that Chit. I am that Ananda. How do you see? You see that the whole gambit of whatever is happening in this universe is happening on the screen. Will there be a movie without the screen? No chance. So if the movie has to be there, then there has to be a screen. And now what is this movie? This movie is nothing but an illusion. It's an appearance. See, somewhere you will have to use the word illusion, some places appearance, depending on the example we are taking. So on a screen, what is the movie? The movie is an appearance. So the Lord clearly says, the entire world, your entire life is nothing but an appearance on the screen. Just as the movie is on the screen, and just as the villain did a very cruel thing, so that will not get affected. That will not affect the screen. And say the hero does a great deed, a very generous deed, good karma. Now that is also not going to give anything good to the screen. So in this way, when you understand that you are no more a part of the movie, but you are that screen which is on which the entire movie is playing. So just as the movie screen is not affected by the flood in the movie, or by the fire in the movie, or by the car chase in the movie, all these are happening on the screen, but nothing affects it. So in the same way he says, when you place yourself, you come out of this jivatva bhava, and there you say, I don't desire for any result of my karma, because I am not the doer of this karma. Prakriti and Purusha, they are the ones who are doing all this as per the prarabdha karma. So when this desirability is not there of any consequence, and when you have the feeling, when the desirability is not there, so nothing can actually affect you. So when nothing can affect you, so then where you will be afraid, where you will be scared. See, all this fear, anxiety, then pain, pleasure, from where does it come? Only when you are stuck to a particular thing to happen in a particular way. So he says, itimam yobijanati. Now this is the most crucial one which we have to understand. When you understand that I am not what I thought I was, that as a doer, but I am that supreme consciousness, Lord and Lord alone. Karma birna sabadhyate. That person will not be affected by any kind of karma one is doing. Because you become the unlimited being, unlimited consciousness, and you have that unlimited value, ananda, which we discussed. All the joy, all the bliss, all the happiness in our lives, all the gains in our life, all the good things in our life, which is called as ananda, happens only when you are conscious. If you are dead, what will you understand? So, you are the Sat, existence. You are the Chit, the consciousness, and you are that Ananda, that bliss. So, you have to rephrase who you are. So, in this way, Lord Krishna clearly tells, if you start understanding what your true nature is on these lines, where you get into that feeling of Tattvamasi. You are not the you are that unlimited being. You are that unlimited awareness, and you are that unlimited value. You are not this body, because you are consciousness. You are nothing other than consciousness, and consciousness is nothing other than you. Meaning, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, I am Arjuna. Lord Krishna is saying, I am Duryodhana, I am Yudhishthira, I am Bhima. And Arjuna, not only that, you are Krishna also. Not only Arjuna, you are Krishna, you are Bhima. See, for this you have to raise your level of understanding, and that can happen only when we come out of this limited Jivatva Bhava. And how can that happen? When you come out of that, I am this body, I am this mind. So when you come out of this and you know that you are that consciousness, at that point of time, you have no body, no mind. All these appearances and disappearances, they all are in consciousness. Now imagine when you dream. In a dream, you went to a friend's place. You had nice dinner over there. You chatted for a long time, and then you went out for a dessert. Then you said, come on, let's go for a long walk. And then finally you came back home and you slept. Now, where was this house? Where was this friend? Where was that city? And where all this happened? If you see, it was just an appearance. Where? In your mind. Just like that, your mind was like that screen. And that whole dream was an appearance which played on your mind, the screen. And when you get up, nothing affected you. Nothing affected you. So in the same way, one has to understand that you are consciousness. Understand in this way. This is what the Lord very clearly tells us. Okay. Now we come to verse 15, 16 and 17. Now actually what is happening here in these three verses is, Lord Krishna is going to properly build up the right atmosphere before he comes out with the 18th verse. He could have just gone into that, but he is creating that kind of a build up. Now 18th verse is not only the most important verse of this particular chapter, but also of the entire Bhagavad Gita, one of the most important versatile verses. 18th, which concludes with verse 24, and in between he has packed all the rest of the verses with different flavors, which more or less corroborate, and they give us the same fragrance, flavor in different versions. So these pivotal verses they call, which are in a way you can say they are kind of paradoxical. They say things which you can't understand, kind of mysterious. They appear to be like a mystery for you. So this, however, Lord Krishna gives this big, before he makes that big announcement, he tries to tell us. Now what is he trying to tell us in these verses? He says, an important thing, why the realization of our true nature, that is we call as enlightenment. See, we are there as long as we are people in this body and mind, and we are working in a particular place, in a particular society, we live in a particular family. So how do I bring this enlightenment and realization, this awareness? I may know, but how do I keep it all the time? How can we make our lives blessed? That's actually a $1 million question. We want to keep this knowledge, but it slips away. See, you see for yourself how it, as far as you're focusing on it, it is there in your mind. It looks very fresh. but somewhere it again slips out of your mind. So the Lord is going to give us that idea of how we can divinize our life. Meaning, do your day-to-day activities. Not that He is not trying to tell us that you do something different. Now suddenly you have to change your clothes, you have to change your lifestyle, you have to change your work pattern. No. There is a beautiful story to enumerate this. Once there was a king, and he had his queen, his ministers, his kingdom, a small kingdom. Now the queen and the king, both of them, they wanted to attain enlightenment. So they both start studying, gaining knowledge, and in between, the queen was able to focus on her studies and on her spiritual sadhana, but the king was, now and then he was getting disturbed, so he was not able to progress well. Sometime he used to get into the worldly matters, and then again come back to sadhana, then again worldly matters, and again come back to sadhana. So this was not giving him the right stability to focus and make a big breakthrough. So it came to a stage where the queen, she was realized. That self-realization had dawned upon her with that knowledge. Now the king goes and asks her, I see that you have realized the truth, the supreme truth. And I also see that you are doing your routine activity as a queen. Whatever activity she had to do in the palace, she was taking care of that and she was doing that. So he asks her, what is the secret? I have not seen you change your way of life, and I have not seen you doing something special. And how is it that you are still glued to this knowledge? So then the queen says, I wanted you to ask that question. Now you went for a sadhana, and then you came back after some time. You were into your worldly affairs, and then again you were doing your sadhana. Then again you were into your worldly affairs. And now what is your understanding? Your understanding is that I am not able to be completely engrossed in this supreme truth or in this knowledge. So he tells him, having understood about the reality that you are not the body is step one. I am not the body, I am not the mind. We'll do the Panchakosha Viveka and the Drigdrisha Viveka, all that we'll be doing. These exercises to prove that, to logically and scientifically prove. Okay. So when you are not the body, you are not the mind, they are just like apps. Now you have so many apps in your mobile. If you remove the app, you mean to say your mobile software gets disturbed? You can add an app, you can remove an app, that is not going to do anything to your mobile. In the same way, all these are apps to the Atman, but they are not you. So I am not the body, I am not the mind, step one. And step two is, I am that pure Atman. Now how can I experience that Atman? That awareness in me is the experience of that Atman in me. Step two. Now you have to go one step higher. I am still not this only awareness or witness of this particular body and mind. I am the reflected consciousness. Now, my true self is that which is being reflected in this body and mind. So, 3 stages. Step 1, I am not the body, mind and senses. Step 2, I am this Atman in this body and mind. And step 3, it is my true state is that Paramatma which is being reflected in this body and mind. Now what she tells him is, you have understood the step 1 and step 2. But then she says, what you need to do is, you need to understand that everything in this world around is nothing that one pure consciousness. What just now Krishna told, Lord Krishna told in the 14th verse. He said that I am Krishna. He tells Arjuna, you are Krishna. And he tells, I am Arjuna, I am Duryodhana, I am Bhima. Meaning one consciousness, there are no two, one consciousness is appearing as so many. Now this is a big challenge for us, but you will have to start realizing. We will also analyze. If it was one consciousness, then what is in my mind I should be able to understand and what is in the other's mind also. If I am dreaming something, then the other person also should be dreaming the same thing. That we will come to that later. So he tells the king, as you have established, you know your true self, now understand that true self is there all around you, which you have not learned. Now you are looking at everybody from the worldly angle. Yes, to deal, you deal in the worldly angle. Whatever is needed, you deal as per the norms of a prudent living in the world. But at the back of your mind, know that that Atma in him and me are reflected from that one supreme consciousness, which is me and me alone. So which means there is no me, there is no you, there is no him, there is no her separately. Now this knowledge, he tells the king, you have to get this. Expand yourself. Not first stage, you have come to yourself. You have realized. But now the greater realization is that you need to understand all that you are doing in this world. That is a big challenge. All that you are doing in this world is an extension of this being which is you. You alone are there in everybody. What a great science this is. He says, once you understand on those lines, then you will also be like me, where all the time you will be calm, peaceful and serene. So this way now, Lord Krishna, he starts taking us forward. Here he's trying to say, it's not something new. What I am giving you, Arjuna, over here, it's not something new. It's been told eons and eons earlier. So now, as we also say, old is gold. So in the same way, Lord Krishna is trying to say, this is not something new. It can be traced back to several eons, not centuries. So this way, he tells Arjuna. And there is a situation, a small story where one student, he boasts about his guru. My guru was saying that he got something creative. And that creative idea, he said, it is nowhere in the Shastras or the Upanishads. Now, what a Western mindset would always want is, they want creativity. But in spiritual knowledge, there is nothing like creativity over here. That spiritual knowledge, Vedanta, philosophy, it goes back to a tradition and lineage, Guru Parampara. You cannot add your own stuff over here. You have to just follow what has been told by the Vedas, by the Upanishads. You can only share your experiences. You are a sadhak. Because this knowledge is about which cannot be expressed in words, they say. Then how are you going to talk about this? As far as possible, you have to keep explaining with that limitation of those words and vocabulary. But eventually what matters is your own experience. So in this way, he tells, if at all you are saying that my guru came out with something unique, that is, then it is actually an insult to the Guru. So we have to be very careful. And where somebody is talking on these lines, that I was in a forest, or I was here, I was there, I got this kind of an enlightenment and all this, that we have to be very careful with. Meaning it will be a kind of misguiding to us. So that is not enlightenment or self-realization. So Lord Krishna, he clearly says, this is what comes from the Vedas, and it is not now, it has been from several eons earlier, and that is what I am going to give you. So let's read the 15th verse. श्रीभगवानुवाच एवं ज्ञात्वा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरपि मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मैव तस्मात् त्वं पूर्वैः पूर्वतरं कृतम्. So he says, Jnatva, having known, evam means thus, what? I am not an agent. I have no desire for the results of action. He does karma, duties, kritam, which have to be undertaken, and purvaihi, meaning by that ancient sages, yogis, rishis, mumukshubhihi, seekers of liberation. Tasmat, therefore, tvam, kuru, undertake action. So in this way he says, Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaihi purvataram kritam. Go as per what your forefathers, your ancient gurus, those spiritual seekers, Kuru karmaiva, follow them as an example. And based on this, you move forward in life. So here he clearly establishes that this is a knowledge which is not somewhere just freshly minted, or it has just come out recently, but it is something which has been there from centuries and eons and eons. So he establishes the, as they say on a brand, they say since 1920. Now as far as you are in the 19th century, 1900 and odd, you feel, oh, 80 years old, 100 years old, it adds value. And say if you are talking of it is since 1890, oh, the older it is, we talk of its reliability. So in the same way, Lord tries to briefly establish over here. And he also gives us that knowledge that don't go to people, sages, rishis, munis, whoever are trying to pose that they got a flash of enlightenment and some new knowledge came into their mind. There is no new knowledge. There is only one knowledge spoken in different ways, and nothing can be apart from this knowledge. So we have to be very careful. Otherwise, we will be mixing up and creating more and more confusion, and we will never be able to get onto the path. So the selection of the source of knowledge, that is extremely important, which he says you have to be very selective of the Guru and the Shastras which the Guru is following. So that he establishes over here. Now verse number 16. श्रीभगवानुवाच किं कर्म किमकर्मेति कवयोऽप्यत्र मोहिताः तत्ते कर्म प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा मोक्षसे शुभात्. Now here Says even the wise are deluded as to what is action, what is inaction. And he says, I shall explain to you the action and that inaction, knowing which you will be free from all this samsara. So now Lord Krishna he says, I'm going to teach this secret, but not here. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do, and this will come in the 18th verse. That karma, what is action, what is not action. So he says, even wise people, kavayapyotra mohitaha. Meaning, kavayopyatra mohitaha. Here, kavi. Mohitaha means they are confused also. Now, what is the meaning of kavi? Normally, understanding is a poet in our current understanding, but here, kavi is one who has got that kranti drashta, they said. Kranti drashta meaning one who are the seers of human destiny. Those extremely wise people who are like these yogis, sages, rishis. And in fact, in the Upanishads, in some places, Brahman, the Paramatma himself is called as Kavi, the ultimate reality. So, here it talks of that great and glorious lineage of the greatest of great sages. So, even such great sages, they also were spellbound. There he talks of this particular, he gives that enumeration to the whole understanding over here. Kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami. Meaning, therefore, now tatte karma, this act of doing karma in this way. How you have to do karma? Without karma, one cannot stay doing their daily activities. But doing daily activities, whatever kind of a job it may be, now that knowledge, that I will expound, I will explain to you, I will give it to you. About what? Action, karma. And then he says in the last quarter, Yagnatva, knowing that moksha se shubhat, you will be freed from the ill effects of karma. If you see how many times we are getting to understand this, because our life is nothing but karma. Right from the time we get up till the end of our day, we have to do karma. And you see, so again and again he says, Gnatva, understand, understand. You are in this unholy, inauspicious samsara. You don't know what your next life can be. You are caught in this samsara. And the sad part is you are not aware that you are caught in this unholy and inauspicious wheel. So if you want to be freed from this, you have to get this secret, which I am now going to tell you. And then in the 17th verse, now this is the final verse of that, all that grand gala preparation or advertisement he is doing about what he is going to say. Now he concludes in the 17th verse. He gives a little flavor of what he wants to say. Come, let's read the 17th verse. श्रीभगवानुवाच कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धेयम् कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धेयम् बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं गहना कर्मणो गतिः. कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं बोद्धव्यश्च विकर्मणः. So here, what is action? And we need to know what is the right action, what is prohibited action, and the third angle he gives is what is inaction. Now, action we understand, and wrong action also we understand, but what is this new inaction which the Lord is talking about here? So he says there is a secret to know about action. And he says even wise people get confused. See, like when you are, say, talking, you're using your tongue, you're using your lips, and you say, I'm talking. So when you walk, you say, I'm using my hands, I'm using my feet. So any work you're doing, if you're doing your driving, you're again using your legs, you're using your hands. So then every action you say that I'm doing something, right? And then what you also say is, when you're sitting quietly, not doing anything, neither your hands are moving, your legs are moving, neither your tongue is moving. And what do you say? You say, I'm sitting quietly. So when you are doing something, that is known as karma, and when you are not doing something, there is karma in that action also. So this is where the confusion. Like if I have to say that when you look up and you say that is the sky, okay, just as simple as you said, I am walking, so I am doing action. And when you are sitting quiet, I am doing nothing, I am doing inaction. Okay. And like it is, if I have to tell you that you look at the sky and say that is that earth, look at the sky and say earth, and when you look down and show the earth and you say this is sky, what will happen? You'll immediately get astonished, isn't it? What is he talking here? I don't understand this. So this is exactly karma and akarma. The Lord is now going to tell us, see action in inaction and see inaction in action. So this way when something is told to us, it leads us to gahana karmano gatihi. Mysterious. We are not able to understand. So this exactly now Lord Krishna is going to talk about in the 18th chapter. You may find it this way. He said this is a great knowledge which has come from eons and eons. And then he spoke about your forefathers, great rishis, munis, they have understood it. Now you also try to understand it in the right manner. And finally he says, I'm giving you a clue that this is something which is mysterious and it may misguide you to a certain extent, but you don't get misguided. I'm there to explain to you in the right manner. So in this way, Lord Krishna, he prepares Arjuna for this great grand gala opening of the 18th verse, which I mentioned to you all, that it is not only one of the important verses of this particular chapter, but of one of the most important verses of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So we'll take up this 18th verse in our next class. So since I've been traveling a lot these days, maybe we may not be able to have on the exact day, which is Tuesday, which will be, in due notice, we'll be able to somehow complete one class a week, which we are bound to. We'll try to do that. Okay. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Come, let's study the Vishnu Sahasranama, the divine names. So here on, we are on verse 32, 298 and 299. Let's read the verse. भूतभव्यभवन्नाथः पवनपावनो नलः कामः कामकृत्कान्तः कामः कामप्रदप्रभुः. The last two divine names of this sloka 32. 297. Kamaha, one who is the beloved. Not only he is the beloved of the devotees, but every activity of all living creatures is an attempt at courting and winning bliss and happiness. The blissful self is the goal of all creatures' life. Even insignificant unicellular organisms revolt against pain, and they too seek happiness, and man is no exception. The infinite bliss, which is experienced only on transcending the body, mind, and intellect, is that which is constantly demanded by every organism that breathes in this universe. In the ignorance of this all satisfying goal, the world suffers. That Lord is the beloved of all devotees, and in fact, he is also the beloved of even those who deny him and run after the sense object. The theist seeks him through devotion or meditation. The atheist too seeks him only in and through all his diligent pursuits of the sense stimuli. 298. Kamapradaha, one who supplies the desired objects, one who fulfills all desires. To the devotee, the Lord is the giver of all desired objects, and to a man of meditation, the Lord is that state of mind where all desires are fulfilled, in the sense that no more can any desire linger in his heart after the experience of divinity. 299. Prabhu, he is the Lord, the Master, the Owner, the Proprietor. One who has all powers to do, kartum, not to do, akartum, and to do otherwise, anyata kartum, is called the great Lord, Prabhu. He can do whatever way he wants. So, this divine Lord is known as Prabhu. To such a divine Lord, we offer our humble salutation and prayers and seek his grace and blessing. Now let's chant the Dhanvantari mantra thrice. Seek grace for good health. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा. We offer our humble salutations to Lord Dhanvantari, none other than Lord Vishnu. We seek His grace and blessings to give us the right health to understand the divine nature. Om Tat Sat. Now let's do the Siddhi Samadhi Yoga Dhyana with words of wisdom. Pearls of wisdom. All of you, please be seated comfortably. If you need to get up and sit down again, please do that. Ensure that each and every part of your body for the next 10-15 minutes will support you without any pain or disturbance. Now, being seated in a very comfortable posture, head, neck, and spine in a straight line. Let's take a few deep breaths, deep as you can. Inhale and exhale. We start with Antarika Drishanuvitsa Vikalpa Samadhi, where you become an observer of the thoughts in your mind, a pure witness. Start observing the thoughts in your mind. You are different from the mind. You can see all that which is happening in your mind. Observe that thought as a pure witness and spectator. Without being judgmental about the thought. Just allow the thought to pass away. For some time, you can slowly shift your attention to the breath. Observe the inhaling and the exhaling pattern of the breath. And go back to the thoughts in your mind. The thought passing by. The more strongly you become a witness to your thoughts, you will see a drastic reduction in the number of thoughts across you. Visualize the awareness in your body. Feel the If you ask yourself a question, am I aware? You will take a pause and, of course, say, yes, I'm aware. Now, what happened in that pause? You became aware of being aware. Now, ask yourself that question again and again and simply stay in the pause. You can shift your attention to your breath for some time and again come back to the awareness of the body. Your mind is calm, still, serene, quiet, peaceful. Focus on the awareness within you. Now know that this awareness is that reflected consciousness. You are not this awareness. You are that pure self which is being reflected as awareness body. If there is a bucket of water and the sun is shining on this bucket, the bucket can be considered to your body the water is your mind, subtle body. The reflection in the water is the reflected consciousness, which is the awareness which we all can feel right now. But your true nature is neither the body, which is the bucket, nor the mind, which is the water, nor the awareness, which is that reflection in the water. It is that pure sun, that Paramatma, which is shining bucket of water, which is the Jiva. The sun is like the Paramatma. Various buckets of water, ponds, rivers, lakes, ocean, they're all like the Jiva. There is only one sun, the Paramatma, which is shining on all these water bodies, which is the creation, the Jagat. That Paramatma who is shining as the reflected consciousness, as the Purusha in this Jiva, this body, which is the Kshetra, and the Purusha is the Kshetrajna. The Paramatma is one who is shining on this mind. Your true nature, that Paramatma. This is the only thing you need to know, which we have not known, and that was ignorance. Knowing this, gaining this knowledge leads to self-realization. Nisargadatta Maharaj, who was living in the slums in Mumbai, once he went to his guru, and in some time he got enlightened. Everyone asked him, what is the secret of this enlightenment, which was clear and evident on his face like a Brahmagnani? He said three things. My guru told me that you are that supreme truth. You are that Paramatma. Step one. Step two, I believed him in totality, without any doubt, without any question. I completely trusted, believed him. Step two. Now, step three, I stayed in that belief without questioning. And that was the secret to my enlightenment. So, in the same way, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, all the Devatas, all the Jagat Gurus are only and only talking of this one truth, that the Lord and Lord alone, Paramatma, is the supreme truth. Rest all are appearances of that Paramatma. Through his Maya Shakti, they appear in this world, in this Jagat. In various forms of creation. Know the truth, understand the truth, become the truth. You didn't know something, so you say, I'm ignorant of that. Now you know that thing. You say, I have knowledge about that. Similarly, I didn't know my true nature. I thought I was this body, mind, senses, this little ego associated with this conglomerate. Now I know that I am the the Paramatma, knowing which you be established in thought. Not only you is that Paramatma, but everything we see in front of us is nothing but a reflection, appearance. Let's listen to the pearls of wisdom for self-realization as per chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita. All the movement you see in existence is by the union of Chptr. That the Paramatma present all and understand that Atma and Paramatma are imperishable in this perishable body. Paramatma is equally present in every soul. All actions are performed by Prakriti and not the Atma. All the diverse living beings are a part of one Prakriti and are born by that one Prakriti, which is created by that one Paramatma. Such Paramatma, who does not have any beginning, who does not have any material qualities, this imperishable Paramatma, although he dwells in the body, he neither acts nor he is tainted. Just like space holds everything, but does not get contaminated, same way, the soul, the Atma, although pervading in the entire body, does not get contaminated. Just as the sun illumines the whole universe, same way, the Atma illumines the entire body. In this way, the one who perceives with eyes of knowledge this subtle difference between Kshetra, which is Vikari, Jada, momentary, and destructible, and who understands Kshetrajna as Nitya, Chetana, Avikari, and Avinashi. And also those who understand that all actions are performed by Prakriti will attain that supreme Parabrahman. Hari Om. That's it. Slowly bring your attention on your breath. The Prana Shakti. Become aware of yourself. Become aware of where you're seated. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Rub your palm, place them on your eyes, feel the warmth. Together, we offer today's Gita Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord. Seek His grace. Na ham karta hari prerana hari priti. Sri Krishna idam namama. Om